Hey everybody, before we get going, I just need to give a big thank you to Sinnis Motorcycles for lending me these machines to bring you some videos and an honest review, and also a massive thanks to Bikesure for supplying cover to me while I've got these bikes and allowing me to bring the videos to you. Bikesure look to cover individuals, so it doesn't matter if your bike is completely normal or totally crazy, they will be able to supply cover for you. There is a link in the description below where you can get in contact with them. Thank you very much to them for supplying the cover, as I say, and let's get on with the video.
Hey everybody, so yes, back on a 125cc petrol. With thanks to Sinnis, obviously, I've got the SM-R 125cc on loan, and I also have the XE, the Enduro version, at the same time, and I'm going to be doing videos on both of them. This will be my first ride of the SM-R. I'm also going to do a first ride of the XE. Then I'm going to take both of them green laning, and I have lots of other little plans along the way before we get to the review at the end, after I've actually used them for a couple of weeks and really got to know them. I think this actually looks fantastic for a 125cc Supermoto. The engine is made by HOODIES and it is at 14.8 brake horsepower. That's what is claimed, which is absolutely fantastic. They've also got independent ABS on this bike opposed to link braking, which is again absolutely fantastic and great to see. And I'm actually quite surprised that they have managed to get the ABS in and get a full powered engine for the price tag, which is about, I think it's around $3,500, somewhere around there. Okay, let's just quickly turn it on. There's a little digital dash. Got the revs across the top. You've got a fuel gauge with bars. Fantastic. Gear position indicator, speed, time. Don't need to know much more than that. You've got your lights around the edge of it. Just start her up. It's not the loudest 125 in the world, but look, Euro 5 came along between the days that I had these. I'll get into that in a minute if you don't know the history of my channel. They're a little quieter than they used to be, but you can change that yourself after you buy it. Right, let's get going. Straight away, I will say that this bike has got a very tall feel to it. I mean, it is a tall bike as is, but also it really makes you feel like you're sat way above it. And almost in ways, it feels tail high. But that's, you know, I'm just going to have to get used to the difference in feeling. I have been riding my DR this morning, so you know. So yes, if you don't know the history of my channel and my history with these bikes, as in Chinese 125cc Supermotos, let me explain. I bought a Pulse Adrenaline 125cc 15 years ago, roughly, at the time where everyone said that you couldn't trust Chinese and it was just the worst thing you could possibly do. The bike was 1,400 quid at the time. And I had that for quite a long time, built my channel on it, absolutely loved it. Sure, it wasn't perfect by any means, but it was cheap and easy to fix. It then got destroyed in a crash, a pretty serious crash, and a car pulled out on me. I then got a Sinnis 125cc Apache, which was basically the same bike for a couple of years, 2-3 years, before I then got my full license and got my DRZ, you know, a Suzuki. But in that time, and after in fact, I've been working very closely with Chinese motorcycle companies to give honest reviews on the bikes, because the stereotype that I was told about the bike didn't meet what I experienced with it. I loved it, and it was cheap, and it was the only way I could get on two wheels. I also had a hand in developing one of the Chinese 125 Supermotos, because, as I say, I had the earlier version of it, and I just kept giving more and more feedback as to things that could be changed, bolts that needed to be changed to better qualities and stuff like that. Point being, I know a fair bit about these bikes, their history, the development, the people behind all the companies. So obviously when I saw that Sinnis was bringing out a new 125cc Supermoto and the Enduro version, which is great to see. And one of the other reasons I was so happy to see they brought this out is because no one else really sells one like it. You know, most of the people that were selling this sort of bike in the past stopped selling them. It was Euro 5 that killed off most of the other ones, because, you know, they were the old ones with Euro 4. So it was absolutely fantastic, you know, to see them back. Euro 5, full power, ABS, it's a HOODIES engine, as I say. It's amazing. I'm really, really very excited about this. It's got 6 gears? What? I didn't know that. This bike is getting more impressive by the minute. I was speaking to one of the reps from Sinnis, and he was saying about sort of what their thinking behind this bike was, and it was to bring people a good bike with everything that they would want. You know, when people get a 125, they want full power, they want decent brakes, they want all that stuff, and they pushed really hard to get that. You know, they went through a couple of different engine manufacturers and couldn't get the engine they needed, but then HOODIES came through with them and were able to produce this unit. Just notice this has a fat bar on it as well, so you can just stick a set of fat bar rentals in this, no problem, so you can get them a little bit wider, which is what I'd want to do. You know, I'd have some hand guards on this. Right, let's go up the dual carriageway, shall we? Put it to the test. So putting the tyres to the test. Oh, they took corners nicely. You have to get used to it a bit more, obviously, but... I'm in 6th, by the way. Oh, I feel like we're going to find the top speed on this road. 125cc power! Go! It's building. 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. I will overtake this. 62. I'll try and tuck. I am 6'4", by the way. I am a giant. 63, 64, 65. I mean, that really is it. 65. Let's be fair. However, we need to know our comfortable cruising speed, and it currently seems like 60 is around that, you know, 6th gear, 9,000 RPM, that's quite high. It's a little bit vibey at this point, not too bad. You don't feel it in the seats, you can feel a few higher vibrations in your hands, and I will say that the car in the mirror is 3 cars merging into each other. However, at a glance, it works. You know, I don't need detail to know there is a blue Mercedes about to overtake me on my right. It's black. Well, whatever. Now, to be fair, this bike has not got a lot of miles on the clock, and so obviously I don't think it's actually been run in. I mean, I've been told just go for it, mate. Rag it. If you want to, you know, use all the engines. So I'm using it all. Interesting. The one thing I will say is this feels like the front end is raked outwards more, as in the forks come out further from the bike than what I'm used to on most Supermotos. You see, what that ends up leading to is that the bike wants to hold a dead ahead feel. On a Supermoto, normally they're brought closer in, which gives you more of an ability to pivot, but it can make the front end loose and it can make it a little bit more lively. Let's put it that way. It's not a bad thing. It just changes the feel. This has actually got quite a sort of raked out feel to it, that it wants to keep the wheel ahead. Everything actually feels very nice. The clutch it's got a little bit of weight to it, but it's not too much, but it feels very solid. Gear changes are very nice and clicky, straight to the point. There's no floppiness in there. Is it oil? Is it bin juice? Who knows? Winder open. Engine braking's not bad either, I will say. It will be interesting to see how the XC performs on the dual carriageway with the 21-inch 18 setup wheels, that is, on it. Oh, and it's also going to be a good laugh to take this thing green laning. Okay, let's see. How quickly does the fuel gauge react? Instantaneously! So the Sinnis has something over nearly all the Triumphs. Their fuel gauges take about 5 minutes, something like that, to actually update after you fill them up. Oh, I'm already feeling the Larry fun coming back. This is going to be a properly funny couple of weeks for these two bikes. It's going to be great. I don't normally ask this now I'm over 100,000, but if you wish to subscribe to see them, then please do. You can also get to see the videos early on my Patreon right now by supporting this channel by as little as $1 a month. Let's come into this car park because I want to try out the sort of low speed manoeuvrability of this thing. First thing I always do to these bikes is I basically get them into a car park. Oh, it's been a while. Full lock U-turns. Okay, well, it's not too difficult. It is surprising how much harder this is on a 125 than a bigger bike. Props to you 125cc riders, because it isn't always easier on yours compared to the bigger bikes. You know, manoeuvrability of this thing seems perfectly adequate for getting through traffic. Easy to balance the clutch, doesn't want to stall easily. The tyres that come on the bike stock are nylons, as with many Chinese bikes, and I'll say two things to that. One, I rode on nylons all year round for 7 years, and I thought they were fine. Yes, they can be a little slipperier in the wet, but honestly with me I think that just taught me more bike control and I didn't see it as a bad thing. However, should you feel so opposed to the idea of using these tyres, you can do this amazing thing called buying different ones. My next video on this bike will be going to the country roads and buzzing around up on those. You know, national speed limits, 60-mile-an-hour roads. You know, really get to know the handling of the bike a bit better. At which point, hopefully, I'll have the tyres scrubbed in just a little bit more. The video after that will be green laning. But obviously, as I say, I have the XE, so we're going to be jumping backwards and forwards and do the same test with both bikes. Because although underneath they're the same thing, the wheels should make quite a big difference because of the size of them. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, I think that's all I really need to cover for the first ride. This has been great. I'm getting used to the feel of this thing. I'm very much looking forward to getting it in some country roads and pushing it a bit harder, getting it into the green lanes. Obviously, the next video will be the first ride of the XE, where I'm going to basically do a similar thing to this. I'll take it for a ride around town. I'll get it on the dual carriageway. We'll top speed run it and see how it does in that regard. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video interesting or useful, please do hit that like button. I'd very much appreciate it. If you'd like to help support this channel, please do that on Patreon. It can cost as little as $1 a month, and it's the ways that I can bring you completely honest reviews. Nothing I have said in this video or will say in any of these videos will be anything other than what I will want to say. That helmet works better on top of your head, mate. But okay. People be weird. Right, until the next one. Bye-bye.